Joining me now, Stephen Yates, former Deputy Assistant to Vice President Cheney for National Security Affairs and now Distinguished Fellow at the Hamilton Foundation. Thanks so much for being here.
Happy to be with you.
You know, while the supply convoy has left, NATO said yesterday there's evidence that Russian troops are in Ukraine. They're continuing their attacks on Ukrainian troops from both sides of the border. Russia denies this. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian president, Petro Poroshenko, is scheduled to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin on Tuesday. So who has the upper hand?
Well, at this point, I think Vladimir Putin still has the upper hand in this relationship because he seems to be continuing a pattern of opportunistic aggression with regard to the Ukraine. We don't know all the details about what this convoy is, but it seems undeniable that Russia is operating on both sides of the border and continuing to basically violate the sovereignty of Ukraine with impunity. It happens when the United States is somewhat distracted with ISIS in Iraq and Syria. And at the same time, the Ukrainian government seemed to have had the upper hand in controlling its territory in the rebel-controlled areas. And so this seems to be a Putin move to seek advantage prior to this meeting with the Ukrainian president.
Well, it seems clear that Moscow is not afraid to use military assets to give separatists weapons, according to all of the evidence we're seeing from various sources, NATO. But some estimates say that there are 20,000 Russian troops that are amassed there on the border. You know, German Chancellor Angela Merkel is advocating for a measured response, a political solution. Is that possible?
Well, it's good that the German Chancellor is there. It's important for the European powers to show solidarity for fellow European countries against this kind of aggression from Russia. There are other European countries that feel at risk. It's less clear what the German Chancellor has in mind to do to provide the Ukraine with the capacity to withstand this. She's talking about border security as an issue. That's an issue that the United States and Germany don't have a lot of credibility to offer a solution to others about, given our experience since 9/11 and our debate in the United States at the moment. But the Ukrainians need a capability to stop this kind of a convoy, to stop this kind of arming and resupplying of rebels, and they need pressure on the Russians to pull back those troops. Sanctions alone haven't been able to do that so far.
And the United Nations reports that 2,000 people have been killed in this conflict thus far, ongoing now for months. Now winter is drawing closer. What does that mean for the Ukrainian people?
Well, I presume it would mean a less permissive environment for them to operate in. It's one where Russia may actually have some advantages. But really, I think this has gone on a long time, and we see with developments in recent events, it's hard to sustain international attention on this crisis. There's a lot else going on in the world, in some ways worse things happening, but we need to be able to support our allies to have the capacity to take care of things in their own part of the world, and that's where the Europeans really need to step up.
Yeah, just quickly, how much does Vladimir Putin's personality play into all of this?
Well, we'll play a little bit of an assessment and guessing game in that regard, but everything that we're seeing so far is consistent with the notion of a leader whose economy is shaky at home, needing to fan nationalism to get support, but also a clever, deliberate, patient aggressor. And so we need to basically have a similar patient and firm response to bolster allies.
All right. Thank you so much, Stephen Yates, for your insight today. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Molly.
Well, in Ferguson, they're now